Congratulations on your purchase of a new V-TUF petrol machine. We're just going to run through the initial setup and check procedures to give you an idea on how it all works and to make you familiar with the machine. This is the main motor. You have a pump, you have an unloader, you have a filter, inlet filter. Your inlet water goes in here, and this is your high pressure hose outlet. When you get the machine, it will come with the basic body and frame. It will come with a handle, sometimes with replaceable jets. You'll have a gun and lance, and you'll have your high pressure hose, and you'll have your instructions, which consists of the bolts for the handle and also a spark plug spanner. Before you do anything, check your oil level, which is here of the engine. It normally would come with oil in. You can see the oil just showing on the threads there. That is the correct level. If it needs topping up, you can use standard engine oil, or you can use the recommended PL 500, which is the lube that eliminates friction. The next thing is your pump comes with a transport plug that must be removed, and your dipstick replaced, which is also a breather. All you need to do is undo it with a spanner. Might be a bit difficult with the fingers initially. Never ever leave this in, otherwise your pump transmission could over pressurize and blow an oil seal and cause oil leaks. And that just screws in like that. Your pump oil level is shown on the glass, and it should be halfway up the glass. If it needs topping up, you can use your standard engine oil or PL 500 just to put a little bit more in, so it's either level, halfway up the glass, or just slightly more. Right, if you've got a petrol machine, make sure you use petrol. Unleaded, new E10 fuel is no problem at all, and then just pour it in so that you have sufficient fuel in the tank for the job you're about to do. If you have any fuel spillage, just wipe it out the way, so there's no potential danger of catching alight from the heat of the engine, especially if it's hot. Right, your machine now is ready to go. You've checked your fuel, you've checked your oil, and you've checked your pump level, and you've put the correct dipstick in it. So before starting the machine, we need to ensure that we have the correct water supply to the machine. The correct water supply is a 3/4 tail with a 3/4 hose, which you hose clip onto there, and then you connect this to the main supply. That will give you enough internal volume in the hose and water reserve to cope with the demands of the pump. Using smaller hoses won't give enough supply, which will make the pump starve of water, which will cause cavitation and damage. You do have the option of a suction kit, and the suction kit is if you want to draw out of a barrel, which normally will always ensure that you have sufficient water flow if the mains pressure is insufficient. This will just screw on where this comes off onto there, like that, and that will go into your barrel or your water container. Initially, you'd need to prime the pump just to ensure that there's some water inside from new, and all you do is just put a standard fitting, connect it on, and then just give the machine one spurt of water. Now there's water in your pump head. If you're wanting to draw from a barrel, all you need to do now is take this off again, that coupling off, put your suction kit on, make sure that this cap is nice and airtight so your machine doesn't suck any air while it's trying to draw water, and then you drop this into a barrel. What we're going to do now is we're going to start the machine with the high pressure hose off, but this in the barrel, and just wait till we get a good stream of water coming through so that all the air is taken out. Before we start the machine, we've got our suction line connected to the pump nice and tight, and we've got our filter immersed in the water in the barrel. Before we start, we're going to make sure the fuel is on, so the fuel is on there. Make sure the choke is on, make sure your throttle is on full, and make sure the starting switch is on. Pull until you feel resistance, and once you feel the resistance, then give it a tap. Take the choke off. Right, as you saw, we had a nice strong flow there. So now we're ready to put our high pressure hose on. So we connect that into there, push the collar back, that goes in there, then connect your trigger. Connect your lance, and tighten it up. Right. So everything's nice and tight. And then select the jet you want, once the handle's on. So we'll take the red one, which is the pencil jet, and we put it in the end here. Pull that back and click the nozzle in there. Right, now we're going to start the machine. But the first thing we do is we need to relieve the pressure on the system. So if we turn this anti-clockwise all the way up, which just means it's going to make it easier to start the engine. So that's turned anti-clockwise, and then we just go through the starting procedure again. On, choke on. If it's been running, you might have the choke off or just halfway, throttle on, and then we pull the starter point, wait till you feel resistance, and then pull. So what we did there is we started the machine with this on minimal pressure, fully unwound, and then when it started we opened the trigger and then wound this down until maximum pressure. If you do that each time, it'll save you a lot of sore hands and struggling to start the machine. Just a couple of important things to check. One of the most important things is your inlet filter. That keeps any debris from getting into your valves of your pump, which will mean that your pump will lose pressure completely. But if this filter gets blocked, you'll find that the pump will lose pressure anyway because it's not getting sufficient water. So how to check it is just undo the blue cap, and you'll find there's a gauze inside there, and just make sure it's nice and clean. Put it back in the blue cap, make sure the O-ring's in place, the black part there, and wind it carefully on again until it's nice and airtight. If it's not tight enough, the filter will allow air in and you'll also lose pressure. Another thing is oil level, just keep an eye on it, that it's still, and watch out for the exhaust, it's hot. If the machine's been standing, you'll find it difficult to start because the fuel, especially fuel nowadays, can go off or stale. If you are struggling to start the machine, if it's been standing for a while, just undo the air filter, take that off, and then just pop a drop of fuel down there, just a drop, no more than a teaspoon. That's fine. Just put everything back the way it came off. Make sure you put the first screw on so that the air filter's nice and tight. Sealed off. Yeah. Cover back on. Make sure the ring nuts is in place. And then just start the machine as you'd always do. To use detergent through the machine, it works on an injector system, which is that's the injector, and this is the pipe that will be drawing your chemical out of your chemical container. So you pop it in and just make sure the filter is submerged. Then importantly, we've been using the red nozzle or the colored nozzles, which are for high pressure, but put the black one in for detergent. The black one has a big orifice in it, which enables the injector to work. All you do is pull the trigger, and you'll find that the chemical will be pulled up through the pipe into the injector and then sent out with the flow. And this is a little adjustment here where you can adjust your chemical dosage. So if you want a lot, screw it right up. If you want to get minimal down, you can infinitely adjust it to 0.